Hi everyone, it's Mary with Studio 2.8 TV. In this video, I'm going to go over the image quality settings on your digital SLR camera and talk a little bit about RAW and if you should be shooting in RAW. So your image quality setting is probably going to be one of the first menu settings on your camera. On my Canon 7D, it is in fact the first menu item, so I'm going to press the set button. Now down below I have all the settings for JPEG. Let's go over the large setting first. It is set on large because this is the setting that I use most of the time. The large setting will provide an image of approximately 18 megapixels. With the large, you have the choice of either a fine compression or a normal compression. The normal compression means that the image is compressed a little bit more than the fine. And if you were to look at it with a microscope on your computer monitor, you might see that some of the edges are a little bit jagged. Next we have the medium. The medium does give an image of approximately 8 megapixels, and again we have the fine compression and the normal compression. The small is the smallest megapixels, 4.5 megapixels, and again we have the choice of the fine and we have the normal compression. So which one should you use? Well, I'm a portrait photographer and I want to be able to provide the wall portraits for my clients, so I always shoot at large fine. If you are the type of photographer that is shooting for the web, or maybe you're shooting for smaller prints, 4x6s, 5x7s, maybe 8x10s, you probably could get away with shooting in medium or in small. However, keep in mind that if you are shooting in the small resolution, that you really can't go to large resolution in post-process, but you can always go from large to small. So if you have room on your memory card and if you have room on your computer, I do recommend that you use the highest resolution setting. You really can't go wrong if you do that. Now let's talk a little bit about RAW. I have a lot of students who ask me, what is RAW? Should I shoot in RAW? They tell me that, oh, my best friend told me I should shoot in RAW. The guy that I bought the camera from says I should shoot in RAW. And they're asking me if they should shoot in RAW. And I say, well, it really depends. You see, what happens is that when you're shooting in JPEG, the image is processed inside the camera. But when you're shooting in RAW, it's up to the camera operator to process the image in post-production software. So that means that you would have to have either Lightroom, Photoshop, or maybe a proprietary software that belongs to Canon or Nikon. So it does get a little bit complicated. There is a little bit of a learning curve. So as a beginner photographer, I do recommend that you start out shooting JPEGs, and as you begin your journey in photography, then you can grow and you can learn to shoot in RAW. And I do plan on having a separate video just on shooting in RAW and how to process RAW photos.